Mm. Man, I went back and forth on whether I should even do this episode because it's kind of like a foregone conclusion or a lost cause. So I wasn't even going to do a topic on this, but this thing was showing up on my timeline like crazy. All from people from videos done a week ago to a day ago to whatever. This joint just showed up on my timeline like crazy. So I wasn't going to talk about this topic because I think it's a foregone conclusion, but apparently it may not be. I also wasn't going to talk about this topic because I'm fat and fresh and fit, or the top 1% of the men that we're supposed to be like, and I'm going to be jealous because I wish I was who they are. Wish I was in shape like them, had the women that they had and so forth. But we're going to talk about it. First things first. Welcome to CNN. I'm Kirk Kennedy. Let's go in. On this channel, we take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. If you are of the Christian tradition as I am, you know that tomorrow is not promised to any of us, but the day of the Lord is. So we remember the future. We remember that day. We live in light of that future, right? Remember the future right there, right there, right there. All right. And we are on the road to 5K. This is where some of the fresh and fit folks gonna come in and be like, man, your channel got 3K. You on the road to 5K. These dudes got it, man. You just a hater. I'm old enough to remember when you could disagree with something because you stand with truth, not because you hate or want to be like haterade. That's actually a satanic term. That's a way of saying there's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfect, and anything that anyone says is wrong with me or about what I do is because they're hating, not because I actually say and do wrong things. So for all those who are hating, that you are a satyr. A Satan hater. You are with Satan. Hating is from Satan. Let that rhyme, right? Hating is from Satan. On the road to 5K. All right, let's talk this. All right. How many of you know what a simp is, right? You know what a simp is. How many of you know what a simp is? All right. Unless you've been under a rock, right, the last couple years, around 2019, 2020, this word surfaced. This word has become as popular as fake news, right? Donald Trump, that's fake news. It was the word of the year in 2018 to 2019, fake news, even though it's two words. But simp is a word. This is what simp means. Simp is a slang term. It's a slang insult for men who are seen as too attentive and submissive to women, especially out of a failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from them. So you will see there's a group of people that are called, it's the red pill. I'm sure you've heard of it. I think the ideology is breaking down and the whole movement because of partly what we're going to talk about today. You got the stuff with Andrew Tate and all of that, but it's breaking down and partly from what we're going to say today. So if you're a simp, it basically means that you're the type of guy that will do anything for women. You will be, and not even just, it's not even, at this point, simp is not even like we used to say, oh, he's whipped back in the day, like, right? He's whipped, like he's pressed. A simp is like a much more insulting term because it's basically saying you will do anything for women, even if you're kind to women at this point. Like with these people, this red pill, you can't even be kind to a woman. You can't say nothing to a woman that's like even because you're a simp, right? If you say you meet a woman and she already has a child and you think, forget about like, biblically, forget about the spirit of adoption, where you might marry a woman who has a child already. You don't know her circumstance. You are a simp. You cannot do it. And you just can't do it. So this is an ideology that has become synonymous with people like fresh and fit. Now, I was not going to talk about this. And I wasn't because I'm fat, so I'm disqualified from saying anything about fresh and fit. So I'm sure that they're going to come into my timeline potentially and go through and tell me that I wish I was like them. I'm fat. I need to do all this stuff. All right. Cool. But I'm on the side of truth. I'd rather be plump with the truth than be in shape without it. That's for sure. All right. So this is a recent, so a couple months ago, Fresh and Fit got demonetized. All right. Which means YouTube, the way YouTube works is if you are monetized, you can be monetized over 1,000 subscribers. And what that means is people who don't have YouTube Premium, who don't pay money to watch YouTube, when you watch my videos, at some point there'll be a commercial, maybe 2 or 3 times. Every time commercials show up, as a content creator, that's called AdSense. And YouTube will pay me a certain amount of money because you're seeing commercials. And then there's super chats. You guys can send a super chat. That's money. Things like that. You can subscribe and give money. All those things, you make money on YouTube. But AdSense is one of the main ways you make money. And if you are a big YouTuber like they are, over 1 million people, you're getting a lot of people watching. And so the AdSense, you get paid a lot, right? They got demonetized. YouTube was like, listen, we're not letting you guys make money anymore because your content is bad. It goes against our regulations and all this stuff. And so they stopped making money, and people who don't like them were celebrating that. They were upset at that. I don't watch a lot of red pill content because I think it's really like a cyanide pill for real. There's the gangster right there. That's my black cat. We keep it that gangster. My cat is black, right? So he was up there on the bookshelf, off the Spidey sense, tingling. So they got demonetized. People celebrated, and again, I think they earned that celebration because they are so. Yeah, I think they're arrogant people, men in particular. These 2 men, Walter and Myron, Fresh and Fit, and they really attack a lot of women, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So they got demonetized for their content, and we'll talk about their content in a second. But the next fiasco has just happened within the last week and a half. All right. One of the Fresh and Fit guys, a black dude, that they call him Pug because his face is like this. He gets mocked a lot because he's not like a attractive guy, right? He gets mocked a lot. So he got an Asian woman named Daisy pregnant, and she had a conversation with him where she recorded it and then released the recording where he was essentially asking her to get rid of the child. He said, I don't want to have a child. Get rid of the child. All right. And she recorded that and then screenshots the conversations. And so now it's blowing up in their faces, and we'll talk about what that means. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I know of a lot of Christian men in particular who look to these guys for counsel. I feel like, man, these guys have helped me understand women and push back against some of the uneven scales that, say, feminism has put into play, right? But I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. This isn't just a feminism thing. So let's talk about the ideology of Fresh and Fit, all right? The ideology of Fresh and Fit is essentially, I mean, there's a lot you could say, and there are things that they say that are true, right? Like, let's be clear. Remember when in Mark 5, when Jesus went to Gennesaret, or to the Gerasenes, and that's a Gentile region in his world. And when he gets there, there was 2 men who had been possessed by multiple demons, many demons, called Legion. We know that there were 2,000 pigs that Jesus sent the demons into, and all of the pigs ran off and drowned and killed themselves, right? Now, pigs don't just follow suit. So these 2 men had a couple thousand demons in them, so they were superhumanly strong, right? And it says, the scripture, you can look at this in Mark 5. The scripture says they saw Jesus from afar and they ran over to him. And they kneeled in front of him and said, why are you here? Have you come to destroy us before the appointed time? We know who you are, Son of the Most High God. And then Jesus has a conversation with them, and they beg him not to send them to the abyss, but into the pigs, all right? Why am I telling you this? Because even demons understand truth. They understand that this is Jesus, and there's an appointed time that we're going to be destroyed. They can understand a degree of truth, right? So even demons understand some things that are true, right? Well, Fresh and Fit does not seem to have the category, right, of truth, but they do have a category of some things being true about women. They do make some claims, especially in this day and age. There are women, and a particular subset of women who are like, they're exploiting their beauty. They go on OnlyFans. They do all this stuff to make money. It's basically, OnlyFans is the new, I would say it's the new prostitution without physical interaction. So now they can go on camera, make money, show themselves, make money, and men just subscribe, or women and just pay the money, right? So these men attack these women. Many of them are attractive women because they're exploiting themselves for money. And what they do is they have a platform where they will sit down with a table full of women and basically tell them how stupid they are, how no man will love them, how any man who does love them, they're simps. They will make these women look foolish. And many of these women are not, I mean, I'm just being honest, many of them, they select who they want. So they're not the most intelligent women. They're not the most articulate women. They're basically the kind of women that are easier to make fun of than someone who's on their game. Someone who was raised by a father and a mother, who understands what the world is like, all right? So these guys, they do a lot of this stuff. They target and attack women like this. They talk about marriage is a sham. They don't want men to be married and stuff like that in the day and age. They say that there's no benefit for men to be married. There's no benefit for you to treat a woman with kindness because you're a simp. They say things like you should have sex with at least 50 women so that you can know what kind of women are. And they boast about these things, all right? They boast about it. So they have an ideology that basically is supposed to empower men to take action in the modern era against women. And a lot of men love it because, you know, to be honest with you, a lot of guys, like guys have always been, unless you're like super good looking, a certain type, what they call today the Chads and Tyrones, right? Unless you're that, then we're really at the whim of women. I remember before all this social media stuff, you had to have the courage to actually see a woman and walk over to her and ask her for a phone number and run the risk of being rejected. Now you can just be, hey, you on Instagram, you on Facebook, you on socials, what do you, and everyone will give you their socials because they just want more followers, right? So there's really no game involved in getting a woman's social media content or information so that you can follow her. So like these men have created this ideology and a ton of people love it. They love watching them just berate and belittle women. And I think a lot of it is because men have experienced that. Men have been on the other side of women mocking them for not being good looking enough, not being in shape enough, all these things. So a lot of men love watching these guys make fun of women who would have made fun of them in previous times. All right. So I want to show you something real quick about this, just to show you what I mean. And this is, men follow this, and they would describe themselves as men who they live to help and save other men from the wiles of modern women, okay? So I want to show you a clip. We might look at two clips. One of them, I'll warn you before we watch that one. Let me show you a clip, all right? Here's one clip. Now, this is one that shows the kind of ideology. This is what they're teaching men. This is how this is their words, their actions, all right? This is what they're doing. They're teaching young men these things, and it's called a red pill, all right? So I'm going to play this and let you hear for yourself how these dudes get down, all right? Here we go.
What's the worst thing you guys have done to a girl?
So, if you guys know Tom Likas, there's something called a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And like,
shit.
basically,
You about to tell the story?
Let's do it. Okay, so basically, right, I was with this chick, and we were kind of like fizzling out. It wasn't working out, but she got pregnant. And then I kind of.
All right, hold on real quick. So this is the platform. This is their platform. They sit around with a bunch of women, and now he's telling a story about this thing he calls the Hail Mary, all right? Now look at how he's laughing. Look at how the other guy fit. So this is Fred. This is the guy, the black dude who's talking, is the one who got a woman pregnant. We'll get into that in a second. All right, and he's describing what he has done to women. It's a plural, right? And here's what he says.
I told her like, yo, we can work this out. Don't worry about it. But we can't have kids right now. And then I did a Hail Mary. And now I'm here.
No, tell them what the Hail Mary is. Tell them what the Hail Mary is. Tell him what it is. Go all the way.
Okay.
Look at the boasting.
So the Hail
Look at the
Mary is,
excitement.
for example, right, where like you tell the chick what she wants to hear, and you can have kids later on. You make her get an abortion. You take her to McDonald's, get a McGriddle, and an orange juice. Sit her down. You tell her about life, and you started this happen, and you never see her again. Wait.
That got really dark.
All right, so here's the Hail Mary. This is the model for men. Here's the Hail Mary. He got a girl pregnant. He told her, I want to be with you. We can have kids, but not right now. She agrees to, first of all, even if that story is true, we don't know. Because there's a lot of people that have exposed it. That one in particular is a liar. The other guy is really emotional, which is interesting that these are alpha men. They would consider themselves alpha men. So this is what alpha men do. Let me get a girl pregnant. Let me convince her to end the pregnancy, get rid of it, and then I'll take her to McDonald's and then tell her we can't be together. That's it, after she does that. And these guys are laughing, right? This is what helping men looks like. So men are supposed to imitate that right there. Imitate that. That's the kind of stuff that they're into, all right? Now, this next video I want you to see is, this next video, oh boy, should I even show y'all this? All right, so I'm only gonna play just a little bit of it because this next video is very vulgar. This is the other guy, Myron, who cusses a lot in this video. He's offended at people for him chastising him for standing by his friend, the black dude who was just talking, Walter Fresh, standing by his side and being a loyal friend, even though he's been proven to be a hypocrite, right? Listen, I want you to see this because this is what people are saying. These are the guys that we love and follow. This is extremely vulgar. I've never played anything with this much vulgarity on my channel. This isn't normal for me, but I want to do this so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, all right? Listen to how this guy is angry. We're just going to watch a little bit of it because, again, this is too vulgar. But I want you to see this because this is fresh and fit. This is the red pill. These are the Don Corleones of training and shaping young men on how to be alpha males. So you're about to watch one of the alpha males of the red pill community show you what it's like to be an alpha male. Again, warning, extreme vulgarity, all right? Just going to watch a small portion of this. Warning, extreme vulgarity, all right? We're all adults, but sometimes I don't know who kids watch it. Extreme vulgarity. This is the alpha male, Myron, from Fresh and Fit, and here's how he is acting. Listen to this.
You fucking losers that sit there and say, oh, it's getting rocky, Myron. You should leave. Why do you stay by Stinko? Do you stay by the Tate? Do you still think they're the Junkers? Chris is the idiot. Why are you still there? Chris drinks too much. Hey, shut the fuck up. That's why no one respects you motherfuckers. Because you don't stand for anything. If there's anything you guys can learn from this fucking podcast, learn this. We've been through hell together. We had people come at us. We've had death threats at us. People fucking laugh at every time we fucking go through some bullshit.
Now, let me just say this. This is where, for me personally, this is where, oh, I didn't even show you guys this. This is where it gets crazy because listen to how he's playing the victim. We've had people do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. If you are familiar with their work, they have done nothing but victimize women and any guys who would do the opposite of what they would do to women. You're a simp. These guys do nothing but victimize, and here he's upset because people have victimized them. They're talking about us. They're saying this, and this is how this guy acts. This is the alpha male, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Don Corleone of the red pill.
People make allegations on us. People have tried to absolutely fucking destroy us. And you know who was around me the whole fucking time? These fucking guys. So you motherfuckers can say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Again, sorry for the vulgarity, but I want you to see this.
I'm gonna stand by the guys that stand by me. Because you fucking pieces of shit aren't fucking there when I'm going through it. You pieces of shit aren't fucking there when I'm fucking figuring out what the fuck I'm gonna do.
All right, he gets even more angry, right? He gets even more angry. And I don't even know if it's worth it. But this is your king. This is your king. This is the dude that is telling everyone, all these young men, to be like him. This is your king? The power of the Black Panther has been stripped away. This is your king. It is fascinating to me. And it's actually sad. It's sad who people will follow today. I mean, man, has the church done so much damage that believers would look to men like this or Andrew Tate? Is lust such a dominating characteristic among those who profess to believe in Jesus that you want to follow men who are berating women that you're attracted to, that you couldn't get, so you're loving the fact that they're doing this? Is this what we've gotten to? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this video up too, because I got 3 sons. I was actually asking my oldest son today, hey, are you familiar with these guys? And he said, yeah, kind of. I don't watch them, but I'm familiar with the format where they sit around and berate women. And he's more familiar with Andrew Tate, but we were talking about it today. And I was explaining to him that I'm making this video and why I'm making this video. Because I said that there's been a tremor in the force, right? If I could show you the rest of that video, it's crazy to watch this dude screaming, yelling and screaming, and he throws stuff, and this is an alpha male though. There's an alpha male who will make fun of me because I'm fat, make fun of me because I only have one home, make fun of me because but yeah, this man has no control over his emotions. This dude is overweight with his emotions. You got obese with the self-control yourself, bro. And this is the dude influencing people, but it's not even his fault. It's like, why would any of you, if you are a believer, follow these men? Why? Here's the reality of Fresh and Fit. So here's what happened. The black dude got a girl pregnant. And at first they were like, oh, all you people that mock him and say he can't get girls and all that. He had the baddest girl in the whole house. She's Miss China or something like that. This dude took her to meet his mom, all this stuff, right? And then she gets pregnant. He tries to get her to end the pregnancy. She doesn't want to. And then they start attacking her. Then they start saying, oh, she's actually an escort and all this stuff. And they start going after her. And they think that they're doing themselves a service by doing this. This is all over my YouTube feed is littered with this stuff. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. One of the problems of the reality of Fresh and Fit. Here's the problem. If you tell guys, like your thing is, if you tell guys, here's one of these, this is just we're not even getting biblical yet. This is just logical. If you tell guys to have sex with a minimum of 50 girls, all right? And then they'll find the right woman after that. When those guys are ready to settle down, let's say all the guys that follow you can do that and do that, right? When they're ready to settle down, the chances are they're going to be with a girl that has a high body count, which is what they shame. So they shame women for having high body counts, but then tell men to have sex with at least 50 women. These men boast at having sex with over 1,000 women. This is what they say, right? You're teaching other men to do that, to find out how women are, to know how to. If all the guys are doing that, then when you're ready to settle down, the women that you're going to meet are going to have high body counts. Because who are you telling men to have sex with? Women. I think it's fascinating that these guys, they want to have sex with all these women, but then meet a woman who hasn't had sex with anyone. Well, the world's only but so big, fam. Where you live is only but so big. The country's only but so big. Your town is only but so big. So if all the guys are taking their advice, by the time, after a few years, they're ready to meet a woman, well, you've had sex with women, and so these women now have a high body count who you would say they're not worthy to be married because they have a high body count. It's what we used to call in the street hustling backwards. But this is a satanic perspective. This is evil. This is pure evil. This is how these guys think. Here's the real problem. The real problem is not, girls have been tripping. Girls were tripping back when I was growing up. It wasn't like social media turned girls into whatever they call them today. They was wild back then. The real problem is we live in a synthetic society, fam. We live in a society where a lot of people's interactions are like this. I was talking to my mom earlier, and in July, I'm going on a sabbatical. I go on sabbatical every year for a little over a month. And this year, we're going back to California. I'm going to be living in San Francisco for 6 weeks. But me and my boys, we're going to travel and go all over the place. And my mom was like, do you think they're going to miss their friends? And I was like, nah, you know why? Because in this day and age, even on like a Saturday afternoon or whatever, most of my kids, they don't go out and hang with their friends. They stay home. They play games, they play Fortnite and stuff online. They put up get Zoom meetings and do stuff together. They do all this other stuff. They're not out there going crazy. So I was like, it ain't gonna really make no difference if we're in California because most of their interaction is online. As opposed to when I grew up, we were outside. I wanted to be outside all day. It's just different. The problem is the society that we live in, social media has made us have synthetic relationships. Most of the times we see people, it's through the screen. And we feel like we know people and we have genuine relationships with people because you can send me you can respond to me and I can respond back to you and it's like, oh wow. And there's in that sense there's a connectivity, but there's an awkwardness because you don't know how to talk to people in real life because you're so used to doing it on the screen. You're so used to texting people rather than just, I mean, how many times remember when you used to just call people straight up and down? Hey, what you doing, man? And let me hit you back because I'm busy right now. All right, cool. Remember that? Now if you call people like, hey, what's up? What's going on? What's wrong? I'm just calling you, bro. Like you got to text people now. Texting is the new talking, right? We live in a synthetic society. So of course guys it's going to be awkward. But you don't want to take your cues from these guys, especially if you are a believer. These dudes would probably make John, the Apostle John, a simp because he took care of Jesus' mom. Remember at the cross, Jesus said, behold your mother, behold your son, right? This is the kind of culture that we live in. Now, biblically speaking, these guys, they basically worship Satan, right? This is what Jesus said. This is what was funny. In America, we don't call things satanic. We just call them we call them the actual activity, right? So we don't call other religions like satanic. We don't call activities, we don't even call them sin. We call adultery like having an affair, right? We call aspects of sexuality an alternative lifestyle, right? Or an orientation thing. We don't call things what they are. And so, but Jesus was real. The Bible's real black and white. If we followed the Bible more like exactly what it says, churches would actually be even harsher. They would be more. 1 Corinthians 5 says, look, if someone professes to be a Christian and they're sexually immoral, greedy, an idolater, or anything, it says don't even eat with such a one. You know how many churches would be wild if they were like, bro, you can't come here and I can't eat with you because you're living in sexual sin. That's what the Bible says, 1 Corinthians 5. The Bible says crazy stuff like that, right? Well, Jesus in John 8 was going back and forth with the Pharisees. And Jesus was like, look, your father's the devil because you do the works that he does. That's what Jesus said. He didn't say because you literally proclaim you're worshiping Satan like what we see people doing now. He said, no, you're worshiping Satan because you do what he does. So in the Bible's mind, if you do this, and that's who you belong to. And I think these guys worship Satan because they do what he does. Look at it. This is what Jesus said. Look, they answered him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. He says, but now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. That is not what Abraham did. Let me scroll down a couple verses later. He says, you are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in truth. And he says, because there's no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he's a liar and the father of lies. These guys imitate their father. And this is why I hope they get saved. I hope they get saved. But they imitate their father, the devil. Let me give you specific reasons why. Not even just the stuff that's there. Let me give you specific reasons why. Because their whole show is based on accusation. Their whole platform. All the red pill stuff from the whatever podcast. I don't watch a lot of these shows, but I've seen enough of them to know. Their whole show is accusation. It's about accusing other people for what they do. Exposing what people do. Accusing people, right? Now, when I use Ephesians 5:11 when I come on and do these shows, and it says expose the deeds of darkness, right? But I can expose what happens. Like, I can expose the sin issues that people do, but instead of calling out individuals, they accuse people all the time. If you have like Bible software like Logos, type in accuse to see how many times the word accuse is used, and almost all the times it's negative, and it's towards Jesus. It's like they accuse him. But here's one of the most powerful ones. This is why I say they worship Satan. Their father's the devil. This is what it says. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of the Christ have come. Listen to this. For the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. If you watch any of their stuff, it's just accusation towards women, accusation towards men who calling you simps. It's insult, accusation. But then when it comes on them, when the dude gets the girl pregnant, buys her, pays $15,000 for jewelry for her, does all the stuff that they've been telling people you're a simp if you do, and then when they do it and it gets exposed, then the dude is flipping out, cussing at everybody. All the people who supported you, you're cussing at anyone who disagrees with you or who points out the hypocrisy. You're angry at everyone who accuses you. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up. The reason why I think these guys worship their father's the devil, because there's no redemption for anyone to these guys. There's no redemption. These guys don't, unless you adopt their philosophy, there's no redemption. Women are only this, women are destructive, men who don't follow their program are this, and it's like, man, you know, there's a, I wish I would have shown this clip. There was a clip where someone was asking this guy about what would he do if his dad cheated on his mom. And he was like, hey, that's what's up. And they said, what would you think your mom would do? He said, my mom's a real one. She wouldn't leave. And he said, so what if it kept happening continuously? And he would be like, yeah, I mean, he came up. That's what's up. And it's like these guys, there's no way you can believe this. There's no way you believe this stuff. These guys have no redemption for anyone, and they think they're better than everyone. You know who else? There's a parable that Jesus told about this very thing. This is what Jesus said. Said this in Luke. The Pharisee standing by, the Pharisee and the tax collector, Luke 18. So he says the Pharisee comes into the temple, and there's a tax collector there. He's beating his chest, saying, man, Lord, forgive me, I'm a sinner, right? The Pharisee comes in and looks, standing by himself, prayed thus, God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of all that I get. So the Pharisee comes in and is comparing himself to the tax collector. He thinks he's better than the tax collector because he doesn't do any of these things. And Jesus said, which one of them went home justified? And people would have thought with the Pharisee because he's a religious dude. The tax collector is the worst of all. No, he said the tax collector went home justified because he humbled himself. These guys don't humble themselves. That little anger, that little rage that I showed you a few minutes ago, that's typical of that dude. He's angry at everyone. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I got 20 houses. You're fat. You ain't been in the gym in 3 weeks. You're this and you're that. I'm better than you. Okay, yeah, you're more fit than me. You have more homes than me. But I have Christ. Like I don't have to worry about how much I have in this life because I'm living for the life to come. And that's why I don't understand believers, young men who follow these dudes. This is the broad road, right? Enter through the narrow gate, for broad is the road and wide is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small but narrow is the gate, and the way of life is hard, and those who find it are few. Like, I don't care how much I acquire in this life as a predominant theme. And it's so interesting that this is, and I get it, this is what the world lives for. But if you're a believer, like, why are you following these guys? They're making you think that women are worthless and women are created in God's image. Your wife is a woman and she may not be who you thought she was going to be. It is fascinating to me to watched this play out for years. I ignored it largely because I was like, I don't even care about that stuff. That stuff doesn't speak to me or anybody that I know. But the more I see it, and so I hope that they get saved, but I'm grateful that God is exposing this. Same thing with Just Pearly Thing. She got demonetized. And all she does is just go after women. She's such a relationship expert, but you're not married and don't have a man as far as we know. Like, we've gotten to the point where we're so deceived by people who have big platforms that we listen to them, take our cues from them, and could care less about their actual lives and their character. As long as the synthetic relationship that I have with you is entertaining to me, or I agree with what you're saying, who cares if you're a hypocrite? A lot of people are saying this is the end of Fresh and Fit because this is just too much. He got exposed. I don't know, and I don't care. I hope they become believers in Jesus. But more than that, for me right now, I hope there aren't men who are trusting these guys to understand women and to understand what it means to be an alpha male. How about if you're a believer, how about you really study how Jesus was? Like, is there an alpha male greater than Jesus? Is that too Christianese? Am I a simp? Because I would rather be like Jesus. Not in the sense that he wasn't married and had a family. Of course, I already have those things. But like, if I want my character to try to be like the Lord, obviously we're going to fall short. We're flawless, right? But is that being a simp? If you're a believer and you trust these dudes, do you know that their worldview, their moral worldview and their ideological worldview opposes the worldview of the Bible? So I'm glad God is exposing this. If for no other reason, so that people who look to them for what it means to be a male and how to treat women, you're saying like, this is your king? This is your king. These dudes are your king? The power of the Black Panther has been stripped away. If you are a Christian and you follow these dudes, you're not a simp, you're a sump. You're a sump. I'm coining this one. You're a sump. If you follow these dudes, whether you're a Christian or not, you're a sump. Let me tell you what a sump is. A sump is a pit, a well, or the like. It's a pit or a well. You're in the sunken place if you follow these people. You cannot. You must not. There's so much more I wanted to say, but I have to go. I'm actually going to speak to Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I got to get out of here. So I kind of rushed through this. There's a lot more I wanted to say and more clips I wanted to show you, but you can look at these anywhere on YouTube. There are people who cover this stuff way better than I do. I just was watching enough of these videos and I thought, wow, Lord, you are exposing people, the hypocrisy of them, but I know some people will still won't get it. So my hope is that any believers, that you get it. You get it. Don't follow these men. I think you need to repent of following men like this and thinking of that. So come in my comment section. Tell me I'm jealous and I'm fat. Cool. But I can still be in the truth. I can still go to heaven fat. You can't go to heaven imitating what they're doing and having their ideologies. All right, let's go to the comment section. Let's see if there's any fresh and fitters in here. The fact that dude said chick and yeah, right, exactly, right. The irony is unclear what they actually stand for. Well, it's definitely not, but there's more I could have shown. But I feel you though. Yeah. They victimize men too. If you just, I said that. All the red pill guys. Yeah. You're a simp. You're this and that. They don't. These guys, man. It's so funny. This is the comment right here. This is it right here. I find so many of these alphas are the whiny. Man, I wish if that video wasn't so vulgar, I would have showed you more. But that thing, I 100% agree. These dudes are, yeah, they are. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say, because they are. That man was so vexed. Wow, that is not the first time. I can tell you that. Hit the like button, 100%. No, yeah, you don't got self-control. You fat. Go to the gym. I can control my emotions though. I can, because you can have a heart attack just by doing that. You are proving yourself. You're not an alpha male. You're not in control of your emotions, fam. Like, and this is your king? The power of the Black Panther has been stripped away. This can't be your king. They make themselves look stupid by slandering her because he was not only with her, but got. You know what's crazy to me? That's the wild part that I don't get. How do you now call her an escort and a 304 and mock her, but you made videos saying I love you to her, kissing her. He brought her to Barbados to meet his family. So if anything, it just shows you that all the advice you give men, you don't have, because you should have known who she was, because You're Mr. You got a four-digit body count. And you couldn't figure out who she was? Ah, man. The real problem is these dudes don't get no girls for real. These are the type of dudes that got flunked in high school and they got a channel and then they said stuff that just shock jocks. And back in the day before, so we used to call them shock jocks. Howard Stern and them just shock jocks. And they get attention because they just say wild stuff. And then you start believing your hype. And then because you get money and you get some prestige, a lot of these girls that come on these shows, they try to have sex with these girls. These girls have said it, they try to have sex with them. Some of them do it because they're popular, but some of them don't. They get on because they like, hey, I want people to follow my OnlyFans or whatever, follow my channel. These dudes are wild, and everything you told dudes not to do, you did. And then he lied about it. He said he didn't buy her a bracelet or none of that, and she showed the receipts. Oh, there was so many videos I could show y'all. Go look at Ob and Preach. Ob and Preach they're like their rivals. They have a lot of stuff on their channel, crazy stuff. They've been exposed a few times at this point. Yeah, and people will watch them because they're entertaining. Look, we are amusing ourselves to death. We are a country that loves amusement. We're amusing ourselves to death. That's why people watch them, because they're entertaining. It's funny to see people berate pretty girls and talk like that, because most guys would never do that. You know, when a girl was pretty, she could be like, well, you got to be careful what you say around, because you want her to like you. You know, you wanted to be the guy that didn't care about what women think because they're drawn to that kind of guy. So that's what it's entertaining. It's not wisdom. It's entertaining. That's why people still watch it. Oh my cat, 100%, Lish, 100%. That's what we're after. Even though we're flawed, but that's what we're after. We're after that, you know? Thanks for a lot. Thank you. No, that's what we're after. I made some videos about Kevin Samuels back in the day, and immediately the hate came. Their fans never address what you actually say with facts. They can comment to me. I could care less. I care less. If I get tired of it, I'll delete the comments or whatever. I'm not tripping. Let their fans could comment, because I know who they work for. I know who those men belong to. I know who they belong to. And whenever you bring, it's funny. If you were in like a basketball stadium that was pitch black, right? And you were in the middle of the floor. If you were in a basketball stadium and it was pitch black, no other light, right? You're in the middle of the floor and all you have is a small match. If you light that match and it will be small, but you know what will happen? Darkness will flee some. Anyone sitting in anywhere in the stadium can look down to the middle and see a small flicker of light and possibly some of your image, because the light is imaging it. That small light can make darkness flee. Well, that small light is truth. The light is truth, and it makes darkness flee. So they can get offended all they want. At me, I don't care. I mean, there's a ton of people that are saying the same stuff. Maybe not using the scriptures I use, but truth is the light, and truth can make the biggest darkness flee. Darkness can't put that light out. Once it gets lit, it can't put it out. And that's the reality. So get mad, get offended, scream, cuss, do all that stuff. Do what you gotta do. I know who you belong to, and I know who I belong to. I belong to that light. That light. And I'm not worried about the darkness that comes. All right? Grace and peace to y'all. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Let's get it.